Hey friends, join me live for a discussion about the new 2021 income requirements that were posted by USCIS. And so in this session, this live session, I'm going to take you through what the new numbers are and some other good stuff that you need to be aware of if you're petitioning for a relative. For those of you who are new to me, welcome. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey. I'm an immigration lawyer here in New York, working with people all over the US and in many different countries. For help with your immigration matter, check out our website at McBean Law to see McBeanLaw.com to see the type of work that we do. Now, let's get into it. I see that some people are joining. Thanks so much as you're joining. Just say hello and happy Easter, by the way. I hope you guys are having a terrific Easter holiday weekend. So this isn't going to be very long, but I have a presentation that I'm going to get into with you now that talks about what the new 2021 income requirements are to sponsor your relative. Okay. And so thanks so much for joining. I see folks are coming in. Excellent. So let's get into it. As you guys know, when you're petitioning for a relative, whether it's your spouse or your child or your sibling, you have to demonstrate that you have enough income, you meet the income threshold to sponsor that relative. And if you don't meet the income requirement, then there's a joint sponsor as an option, or even the use of your assets as another option for you to be able to bring your spouse into the United States, or if your spouse or your relative into the United States, or if your relative is going through adjustment of status, they would also need to, you would also need to demonstrate that you have the right income to sponsor your relative. Dive into the presentation here. So how is income determined? And by the way, this is an update from my video last. I talked about what the 2020 income requirement numbers are. So this is an update on that video. Okay, so income is determined, friends, based on your location. Where are you, sponsor? Where are you in the United States? Which state are you in? Are you in Alaska or are you in New York? It makes a very big difference with respect to the income requirements, and I'm going to take you into that shortly. The other thing that is considered is whether you're in the military or you're not in the military. And then the biggest part here that we're going to get into is household size. How big is your household? Because that will really determine how much income you must have to sponsor your relative. By the way, if you're watching this live, share this with your feed on Facebook. Okay, and I see that we have folks in here from Trinidad and Tennessee and from all over. Happy Easter again, Jamaica. I see so many folks are chiming in now. Okay, so household size. Who do you include? Who should you include? I must say this, the household size is determined differently purposes versus public charge, which is no longer a requirement that you have to meet. So many of you may remember I talked a lot about the requirements under public charge. I want you to set all of standard is no longer in effect, whether you're petitioning for your relative overseas via the immigrant visa process or going through an adjustment of status process for your relative. Public charge is not in effect anymore. So this is just the pure affidavit of support in requirements that we're talking about in this live session. Okay, so you have to include yourself. You must also include your spouse if you're married. You must also count the person who is being sponsored, dependent children as well, those who are under 21 and unmarried. And then if you have any other dependents who you claimed on your federal income taxes, you're going to have to include those people. And then if you have any relative who you petitioned for who are now lawful permanent residents. And this, and guys, I want you to, if you're going through this process on your own and you're working on the affidavit of support, you want to make sure that you read the instructions very carefully with respect to the household size, because the instructions goes into further details about these requirements. Now, on the Affidavit of Support Form I-864, Part 5 breaks down for you how you're to calculate or include, who you're to actually include, right, in your household size. And so firstly, it says the person you are sponsoring in this affidavit, yourself. Enter 1 if you're married, then dependent children, other dependent. And then number 6 says if you have sponsored any other persons on Form I-864 or the I-864 Easy who are now lawful permanent resident, you've got to enter that number here as well. Because remember, you're on the hook for individuals who are green card holders who have not yet become a U.S. citizen. You're on the hook for those individuals for about 10 years or until they become a U.S. citizen. That is still, that obligation is something that the government wants to know about on the current affidavit of support form that you're working on. And so this is where you would actually enter the data for the household size. And this is not a training about the affidavit of support. So I'm not going to get into anything further related to the form itself. This is just an overview of where you're going to put the information related to your household size. Now, next, the new income requirements went into effect on April 1st, 2021, and you could find the data, and we're going to get into the numbers shortly, but you could find the data on chart I-864P on USCIS's website. Let me go ahead and pull that up for you. So this is USCIS's website, and I-864P, the 2021 HHS poverty guidelines for affidavit of support. And as you can see, this was updated as of April 1st, 2021. Also, this is broken out according to where you live, right? If you're within the 48 states, DC, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, then the below numbers apply to you. But if you're in Alaska, you have a completely different set of numbers, and the same thing with respect to Hawaii. And we're going to get into the numbers any second now. Give me a moment here. Let me get back on here. So that's where you're going to find this data, okay? That's where the data is. Hold on a moment. Okay, here we go. Now, assets, as I've mentioned, assets can be used. You can use assets, guys, if your income, if you don't meet the income threshold. And again, read the instructions very carefully about how to which assets you may include and how to compute the assets. There's actually a formula in terms of how to determine the assets, and that formula is found in the instructions. Now, if you live in any of these states or territories, then the following numbers that I'm going to go through with you now applies to you. Okay, so if you're in any of those 48 states, this is excluding Alaska and Hawaii. It includes DC, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Here are the income requirements that you must meet. So this chart, again, is based on your household size. And so if your household size is 2, meaning that's you, petitioning spouse, and your spouse who you're sponsoring, family size is only 2. So you must meet a minimum threshold of $21,775. These numbers did go up, guys. They went up slightly from the 2020 numbers. If you have a household size of 3, the number is $27,450. A family size of 4, you must have an annual income Total income of $33,125. Family size of 5, $38,800. Family size of 6, $44,475. Family size of 7, 50,000, 50,150. And then for a family size of 8, that you need to have earned $55,825. Now, there again, the affidavit of support, it can be a little tricky and complicated. There are times when you're able to combine your income with the intended immigrant or the person you're sponsoring. There are times when you can do that. Then there are times when you could include other household members' income to help meet the requirements. And so it gets, if you need help figuring out how, who you should include and all of that, the form instructions does provide those instructions for you. And so these are the new numbers, friends. And then also for any additional persons, for any additional person, you must include or add $5,675. Now, this is for everyone who is who are non-military. This is the non-military numbers. If you're in the military, then the numbers in the middle of this table applies to you. And as you can see, the threshold is lower for those who are an active duty member of our armed forces. Okay, so these are the new numbers, friends, that you need to meet if you're sponsoring someone. Now, lastly, as a reminder, if you don't meet the number here, even if you're off by $1 or $2, it does matter to the government, believe it or not. You can get a joint sponsor, and that joint sponsor must be able to fully meet the income threshold. Again, assets may be used, and you want to fill out the I-864 very carefully, because the last thing you want to see happen is your case be slowed down, delayed, or even denied for failure to complete the I-864 correctly. And then lastly, submit all of the required evidence. All of the required evidence related to the form I-864 should be completed. So that's what I wanted to share in this one, guys. The new numbers are out April 1st. Don't make the mistake of submitting your filing these days by using the old 2020 number. You want to use the new number and meet those requirements. If you're not able to, get your joint sponsor or use your assets. I hope you found this helpful. I see that guys, give me some likes and some hearts as I'm chiming off. I wanted to jump on real quickly on this Easter weekend and give you that information so that if you were to submit your petition next week or your application next week, you'll know exactly what you need to meet. Okay? Don't want any mistakes in this process. If you're new to my channel, on McBean Immigration TV, subscribe and hit the notification bell. By the way, if you do not hit the notification bell and my videos come out, YouTube will not inform you of them unless the video is extremely popular, then they'll share it with you. So you want to hit the notification bell so that you're aware of my updates each week. Guys, I'm going to sign off now. Thanks so much for being with me, and have a wonderful, wonderful Easter, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.